Good evening. Welcome to Grandma's Attic Music Review. I'm so happy to be with you in your homes. I am so blessed to be able to come to you every Saturday night and bring to you just some of the best music that I can find anywhere. Certainly in New London County, we have some of the best musicians and best acts in the world. That's not just my opinion, that's just a fact. Tonight I have, several weeks ago I told you that we were doing a fundraiser for the Homeless Hospitality Center called Pass the Guitar. And several wonderful things happened that night. We raised almost $3,000 for the Homeless Hospitality Center, and that's a wonderful thing. But I also got to see some really great musicians. Some of them I knew, and tonight's musician I'd never ever seen before, never heard of before, but I think that you're going to enjoy him as much as I do. He's absolutely folky, he's absolutely down home, and he's absolutely wonderful. Please help me welcome into your living room, Mr. Frank Critelli.
Thank you so much for having me. Block off your senses, settle your dust, stop the pretenses, what's all the fuss? Stick to the center, breathe in and out, keep it together, no need to freak out. You won't break if you can bend. It all comes down to Zen again. Lose your illusions, open your soul, avoid this confusion, return to the fold. There's no revolution, there's no marching feet, but it's the solution, keeping it sweet. No, you won't break if you can bend. It all comes down to Zen again. You won't break if you can bend. It all comes down to Zen again. Thank you very much. Well, I can feel the way she smiles at me so amusedly, but it's okay, 'cause I can see that she's teasing me, squeezing me. It's a game, and I know how it's going to go. And it's on me to breathe, to weave, to believe, and retreat from this cruel desire. Oh, cool the fire and just be, and simply know how it's going to go. unexpected. When you least expect it, you will find your way with time. In your time, you'll be fine. Wake up to the fact that you've been making this up all along, and you'll decide the color of the sky above. Choose with love. Because you know what you say is so. There's a light that I think I see surrounding we. It's a dream, and it's right that my mind is frayed. Don't lead me on this way, destiny, because I know how it's going to go. Yes, I know, because it's what I chose. Thank you very much. It's really nice to be here in Grandma's attic. It's not a bad place to be. It's kind of pleasant here. I like it. And you have dogs and everything. Dogs are cool. So this is a song, I wrote this one, it's on my most recent record. The record is called Everything is Everything, but I'll get into that in a minute. But this is a song, this one goes out to Jabez.
Nice.
I'm gonna go for a ride in the car. We may not go far, just around town. Maybe we'll go for a walk in the park before it gets dark, before we go home. Somebody, somebody, somebody's calling my name. I know my, I know my, I know my, I know my name. I'll take the lead because I know the way. We came yesterday. This is my place. Sometimes I move slow, sometimes I move fast. The breeze blowing past, I'm running away. Somebody, somebody, somebody's calling my name. I know my, I know my, I know my, I know my name. And I come alive, out for a drive. There's nothing better than being together outside. Sometimes he yells when I do something bad, but he's still my man, and I'm still his friend. Maybe later on we can watch some TV. He'll sit next to me and scratch my head. Somebody, somebody, somebody's calling my name. I know my, I know my, I know my, I know my name. Somebody, somebody, somebody's calling my name. I know my, I know my, I know my, I know my name. Thanks, that's my dog song. Everybody's got to have a dog song. That's mine. Some of your favorite dog songs, anybody? You know the one, A Dog Named Blue, you know that one?
Yeah.
Oh, that's bingo. That's a great one. Good call, man. Good call. All right. My most recent record actually came out in 2014, which is like a million years ago in record worlds. But it's called Everything is Everything, and this is the title track. The name of the song is called Constantly Changing, and it's kind of about friendships. You guys were mentioning Facebook earlier, and you're talking about, you know, like the live feed and stuff like that. And Facebook is really cool because, you know, it's like email with pictures.
really. You get to keep track of everybody, and even people that you haven't seen in a long time. Where it gets a little bit weird is that sometimes people from your past find you, you know? And like, now, there's a reason why they're in your past, you know? Because sometimes, like, you know, you're friends with somebody, and maybe there wasn't any dramatic, like, falling out. It wasn't something, you know, horrific and, you know, drama-laden or anything like that, but just sometimes you just kind of drift in different directions, you know? So this is a song about that, and it's called Constantly Changing.
Well, I don't know the reasons why, but you just came into my mind. I haven't thought about you in a long, long while. These recollected memories cause me to ponder so many things about you still make me smile. Remember when we laughed and sang and held each other in the rain, and Pinky swore forever we'd always be. Well, time has passed and things have changed since those days when we were friends, but today I held you once again in my memory. Was that me, or is this the real me? Every day before today feels like a dream. Everything is everything it seems, and now here we are, constantly changing. Sometimes life feels tragic. People come and go like magic. But I remember you. Do you remember me? We all know the past was once the present and a part of us, and water underneath the bridge has got to flow. It's nice to visit now and then, but we could never live there again. And I hope all's well with you, my friend, but it's time to go. 'Cause that was me, but now this is me. Every day before today feels like a dream. Everything is everything it seems, and will always be constantly changing.
Thank you.
You can say it ain't so, you can wish it away. Pray for a miracle, nothing will change. You can sit in the dark or cry on the phone. Delay if you want, but it's time to go. Pariah, Messiah, Cantina. But no one's gonna save you now. No one's gonna save you now. No one's gonna save you now. No, no one's gonna save you. Well, you can do what you want, or you can do as they say. Sooner or later, you'll find it the same. You can break all the rules, or follow the laws, or wait for an outcome, or fight for a cause. It's all very simple, I'm telling you true. Whatever happens, it's all up to you. Are you too hot to handle? About to give up? I might care very deeply, or I might not give a fuck. Liar, conspire, retire. But no one's gonna save you now. No one's gonna save you now. No one's gonna save you now. No, no one's gonna save you. Now I don't mean to scare you or fill you with dread or put crazy pictures all up in your head, but do what I tell you, heed what I said. You wake up in the morning and you find yourself dead. Fire, reach higher, expire. But no one's gonna save you now. No one's gonna save you now. No one's gonna save you now. No, no one's gonna save you now. You've got to save yourself somehow, 'cause no one's gonna save you now. No one's gonna save you now. No, no one's gonna save you. Thank you very, very much.
You're welcome very, very much.
This is a new song. Can we do that sort of thing here? Can we get all brand new on you? This is an unrecorded song. I feel like sometimes, I'm not sure how it works for you guys. I know that you write songs and things. You guys are all creative people, you know? But sometimes I feel like my writing schedule is like an up and down sort of thing, you know? Sometimes it's like feast or famine, you know? And I think I'm like stuck in the middle someplace. I'm on the x-axis of a, sine curve here, a cosine curve or something like that. But this is a new song, and it was from a dream. So you know how like Bob Dylan's got those songs called like Bob Dylan's Dream number, blah, blah, blah. I'm calling this one Frank Critelli's Dream number 1 through 3. All right.
Nice.
And we'll see how this comes out. I've been strumming it differently than when I wrote it. I think it's a bluegrass song, but I could be wrong. Maybe you can tell me.
I dreamt I saw St. Joseph. He was loading up a van with blisters on his hands, an ever strong and ever gentle family man. And then I saw the Virgin Mary, and she was driving in a car, returning from the grocery store, so beautiful, maternal, and adorable. And I dreamt I was there when their minds met. It was love at second guess, and I could see that they could see they were blessed. I dreamt I was friends with Da Vinci. We sat in my backyard, he beat me every time at cards. We talked of love and death and God and stars. And then along came Albert Einstein, and they got drunk on Chardonnay, and they talked all night, and the next day I listened, but I didn't dare to say that I dreamt I was there when their minds met, and sparked with a shared understanding that birth and death are accidents, life is random. I dreamt I was singing a tune under a strawberry moon, but the words they came out wrong, and no one liked the song that I'd written and had practiced for so long. And then we all drove home, each of us alone, and we thought about our words and what we saw and what we heard, and realized a miracle occurred. We're there together, all in the the same room. For better or worse, that connects us in the universe.
Thank you very, very much. All right, well, that was kind of a new one. This is kind of a really old one. This is one of the first songs I ever wrote, and it was in 1989 in North Adams, Massachusetts. And I used to work at a pizza joint called Carmen Napolitano's Italian Restaurant and Pizzeria. And I got off about 11:30 on a Friday, and I reached my hand down into my pocket, and I retrieved exactly $1. Draft beers, the smaller variety, being 75 cents in North Adams, Massachusetts in 1989, I decided I would stop down to my favorite watering hole, which was the Pitcher's Mound Pub on Ashland Street in North Adams, and get myself a beer. So I walked in, put the dollar on the bar. I said, "Jack, I'll have a beer." And he gave me that look. The same look he always gave me when I said those words. And he reached down into the cooler and he pulled out the $1.10 size of beer, filled it with a sparkling brown ale, and slid it down the bar in my direction, leaving my dollar in its resting place on the bar, which could only mean one thing: I'd have two. Well, that first beer finished, he filled it up, and when that beer was finished, he filled it up again. And when that beer was finished, he filled it up again, until by the end of the night, we were watching Late Night with David Letterman or something like that, and I was behind the bar shaking his hand probably just a little bit too long and telling him what a great guy he was. I tripped down the block toward my apartment above the Mini Mart on Ashland Street in North Adams, Massachusetts, and immediately fell asleep in my clothes. But before I did, I wrote down 5 verses to a song that I'm about to play. I woke up the next day in my clothes, and I picked up the notebook that was on by the side of my bed, and I kind of liked the words. They were all right, Except the problem was that by the time I got to the final verse, my writing had become completely illegible, and I couldn't read what I wrote. So I put a record on the turntable, and I picked out part of a verse, and I stuck it in. You could call that plagiarism, if you like, or you could call it showing your influence. I prefer showing your influence. I started playing a couple of chords on the guitar, these, as a matter of fact. And I had a new song. My first real one, I thought. And I put down the guitar, and I went toward the bathroom to take a shower, and I put my hands in my pocket, and I retrieved from my pocket the $1 bill. Jack had put it back in my pocket before I left the bar. And that's how they rolled in North Adams, Massachusetts in 1989. And this is a song called Picture.
Looking at a picture, is it me? Is it me? Looking at a picture, is it me there on the beach? Looking at a picture of myself and see a stranger. Looking at a picture, feeling older, sensing danger. Picture, if you will, the sleeping sands and a rainbow. Picture all the universe while turning your kaleidoscope. Picture the changes that you've gone through and will go through. Picture the music and the song you call yourself. Picture yourself much older and silver gray. Picture your life somewhere far, far away. Picture your children and their children and then theirs. Picture what their life would be if no one ever cared. Picture a tree, and then a forest, and then a mountain. Picture all of these things leveled for a shopping mall. Picture a village, and then a town, and now a city. Tell me, which of these would you rather make your home? And picture yourself in a boat on a river with tangerine trees, marmalade skies. Somebody calls you, you answer quite slowly. A girl with kaleidoscope eyes. Looking at a picture, is it me? Is it me? Looking at a picture, is it me there on the beach? Looking at a picture of myself and see a stranger. Looking at a picture, feeling older, sensing danger. Sensing danger. Feeling old.
Thank you very much. We are taping this program, Grandma's Attic Music Review, on December 8th. So I want to play that song. So we'll have just a second of silence, just like this. Ready? Okay, good. There's another Beatles reference in this song. You could look this up. This song is about the same thing as Got to Get You Into My Life.
I know I can't find a way to disprove those things you say, but for now I'm buying all you sell, hook, line, and sinker. I know I dream in rhyme, but I can't decide if I should follow you or let you follow me. It's the way you move me on in circles. It's the way you let me think it's all my bright idea. It's the way you shake me inside upside down. It's the way you make me feel. And if today was yesterday, I might not have been afraid. But the stars have changed, and I am lost in someone else's sky. I know I dream in rhyme, but I can find no danger. There's no strangers, everyone is me. It's the way you move me on in circles. It's the way you let me think it's all my bright idea. It's the way you shake me inside upside down. It's the way you make me feel. It's the way you move me all in circles. It's the way you let me think it's all my bright idea. It's the way you shake me inside upside down. It's the way you make me feel. It's the way you make me feel. It's the way you make me feel.
Thank you so much for listening to me, and thank you for having me here. This is going to be my last song for a little while. I'm going to chat with Grandma for a while, and that's a nice thing, too. So thank you very, very much. You guys do a great job around here, don't you?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do. You do. You got a crack crew. You were talking about that earlier.
I know.
Good for you, Grandma. I'll tell you what. This is a blues song, and it was written after a line in a Tom Robbins novel. The line was from Still Life with Woodpecker. You know that one? Yep. Oh, that's a good one. Good man. Thank you.
Well, there's a monkey on my back, 20 camels in a pack, and I'm counting the dead soldiers at the bar. What's causing me dismay is the question that remains. Tell me, how do you make love stay? Oh, tell me, how do you make love stay? Well, I'm wishing on a star, and I've traveled near and far. I've watched the sunset and the moon rise right behind. And I'm standing here today, ashamed to have to say I don't know how to make love stay. Oh, tell me, how do you make love stay? Well, some folks, they're just fighting for some justice. Others, they're just trying to get some peace. And I don't understand what all the fight and the fuss is. Find love and you'll find all three. And the love works just fine for me. You can keep your money bags and your rose pink Cadillac. You can keep your marijuana and cocaine. 'Cause riches seem to fade and getting high is just a game if you know how to make love stay. Oh, tell me, how do you make love stay? Well, some folks, all they seek is understanding. Others, they're just trying to get some truth. But love is the honey on the candy. Yeah, love can see you through. And love can save me too.
All right.
Thank you.
So while Frank's coming over and getting mic'd up, why don't I just remind you all of some of the wonderful things going on in and around your neighborhood. So the Small Gifts show is going on down at the Hygienic, and you can go down there and get wonderful, wonderful handcrafted things for whatever that are made by local artists, local people. That's at the Hygienic Art Gallery. Remember what I say about supporting our local mom and pop shops and keeping the economy here in our own area. It's so important, especially in this holiday season, to shop small, shop local. It may cost you a couple extra dollars, but those dollars will stay in your neighborhood. Also, cold weather is upon us, and if you have a next door neighbor that's elderly or has a bunch of small children, do me a favor and check on them. Make sure that they have what they need to stay warm this winter. It's so important for us to love our neighbors. And now let's talk to Frank. Hi, Frank.
Hi.
I'm so glad to have you.
I love you, neighbor.
Thank you. So, wow, there's so much to talk about. I met you at the Homeless Hospitality Pass the Guitar gig.
That's right.
How did you get to that? How did you get to that gig? Because you're not from New London.
No, I drove.
You drove. Okay.
I drove to.
How did you get?
How did I get
found?
the gig?
How did you get the gig?
I know Hugh. I've known Hugh for years.
Yeah.
I was a big Reducers fan back in the day, and I had seen them a bunch. They play. I live in Meriden, and they play up in Meriden. They used to play up in Meriden
Yeah.
for the Meriden Daffodil Festival.
Yep.
So we just became sort of acquaintances, and every now and then we found ourselves on a similar bill or in the same room, and he asked me to do it, and I was more than happy.
Nice. That did raise a good amount of change for the Homeless Hospitality Center, and that's what we got to do. I'm all about getting on my soapbox about taking care of
Oh,
our
yeah.
neighbors and our friends.
I love just the title of it, the Homeless Hospitality Center.
Right.
And that sounds incredibly friendly, and that's exactly how it should be.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is, because people think that just because someone's homeless means that they're a drunk or a drug addict, or so many people are just down on their luck nowadays. Anyway, let's talk about you. Because you've been obviously playing music for a while. When did you start playing music?
Well, I'll tell you what, I have to credit my good buddy when I was growing up, Tim O'Connor. I used to go to Tim O'Connor's house when we were kids, and his dad and his uncles would be like around and playing guitars and things.
Nice.
And he played guitar since he was like born, you know. And I always sort of watched him and kind of emulated what he did. But it wasn't until I went away to college up in North Adams
Yeah.
that I actually bought a guitar.
And how old were you at that point?
About 20, give or take, 19 or 20.
Nice. So you've been playing since your early 20s?
Yeah.
And when did you start actually writing your own songs?
Almost right away. That's why I picked up the guitar in the first place, I feel like. I don't know, like I think every human is pulled to create something. You know, whether you're a cook, a sculptor, a painter, a songwriter, a gardener, we're all pulled to
A
create.
grandma's atticer.
A grandma's atticer. Well, this is a creative pursuit. You know, TV is
It
art.
really
You know?
is.
Yeah. There's an art to this, broadcasting. Broadcasting is an art. Being
Yeah.
a radio disc jockey is an art, you know? Not everybody can do that.
You're
And
right.
Just because you have good taste in music doesn't mean that you're a good announcer
right,
or a host
exactly.
for that
I
sort
agree.
of thing. Yeah.
I agree. And not everybody can have a team like what we have here.
Exactly
I was
right.
talking about that earlier between Jeff and Bob and Edwin and Chris. I couldn't do this without those guys.
Oh, yeah.
And they're absolutely fabulous. But we're talking about you.
So I was drawn to the guitar because I was drawn to songwriting and words. You know, growing up, all the people that I admired did those things. You know, they were poets
Who
or
were some of your
songwriters.
earliest songwriting influences?
Well, it's easy to say the Beatles because I think that they influenced everybody, and it is December 8th on the taping of this particular show.
Yeah.
So when I was about maybe 4 years old, I remember hearing Strawberry Fields in
Wow.
my father's Buick, the brown Buick convertible that he had. And I remember distinctly, we were on New Street in Uniondale, New York. And I remember where the car was parked when he started it up and turned on the radio. And I heard this noise come out of it, and I was like, what the heck is that? You know, that's beautiful to me.
Right.
But it wasn't until I was about maybe 7 or 8 years old that I started to actually get records, you know? So John Lennon, Cat Stevens, people like that really just sort of spoke to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you have any female songwriter influences? Do you have any women that you emulate or that you've looked at for their songwriting?
That's a really good question. People who know me know that I have possibly an unhealthy bias against female singer-songwriters.
Ooh, ouch.
However,
Ouch.
I am perfectly willing to admit that it might be because I'm just not smart enough to understand the female point of view sometimes. So the women that...
I'm just going to tell you that that's a guy thing.
Is that a guy thing?
It is.
I'm sorry to be stereotypical then. Damn it, show's over.
No. I actually have never asked a male singer-songwriter that question. So to hear that from you, maybe that's a typical answer from most men.
Maybe.
Because female singer-songwriters have female and male influences, and they often talk about both. If you could say that the Beatles were your biggest influences, do you think that that's the fact?
That could be it. But I'll tell you, after I left college, I went to Boston, Massachusetts, and where I lived for a couple of years as a street performer.
Nice.
And one of my major influences as a street performer and songwriter and performer was Mary Lou Lord.
Now that's a female.
That's a female. Mary Lou Lord used to play for 4 or 5 hours straight and never repeat a song. She was an unbelievable interpreter of other people's work.
Nice.
And a really, really interesting songwriter. And early in her career, she had a song called Not Necessarily the Bubonic Plague. And it was about AIDS. And I used to sit on the street in Harvard Square with a bottle in a brown paper bag and listen to this woman for hours. And I'm telling you, she was fantastic. So when I think of myself, and I still street perform. In fact, I'm playing on Saturday at the City Seed Farmers Market in Worcester Square in New Haven.
Nice.
I love playing on the street, and those are my favorite audiences. So when I think of myself as a street performer, I have to say that Mary Lou Lord was the biggest influence.
Did they call that busking back then also?
Yeah, yeah.
I know a lot of people that their favorite way to perform is busking, so to speak. And I think it's a special talent to be able to have a moving audience that doesn't always just stop and sit and listen, but is constantly on the move. Every once in a while you'll get someone that will stop and stay and listen for a little bit, but most of the time it's people coming and going and doing about their business. And if you're gonna catch them, you've gotta catch them with something. So that's really cool. So you do have a lot going on. I follow you on Facebook. And you have a lot of little gigs here and there, especially during the holiday season. You want to put some of them out there that people might be able to catch?
December 10th, I'm playing in Worcester Square in New Haven. December 11th, which is a Sunday, I'm at Higher Grounds.
Tomorrow morning,
That's
by the way.
from the airing of the show, it's tomorrow morning.
Yep.
10 a.m. at Higher Grounds at 32 Main in East Haddam.
Nice.
Which is a great little joint.
Nice.
I really like that one a lot.
Now, you have an album out that you put out in 2014.
Yeah.
Where can people find that?
It's on CD Baby.
Nice.
Yeah, you can look for my name, Frank Critelli, and at CD Baby, it's just Everything is Everything.
He's also on Instagram, by the way.
I am?
Yes. Yes, you are. Oh. If you hashtag your name, it comes up, and you've had like several hundred people hashtag you. So
I don't have an Instagram account, so that's pretty cool.
Well, you better get one.
I better get one soon, so I can look at my big ugly head on the internet.
That's a wonderful thing. Oh my goodness. What is it that makes you write a song, and how do you write it? What makes you sit down and write a song?
Sometimes, and maybe this is true for everybody, I'm not really sure. I feel compelled to write it, like I couldn't not write it. Almost as if the song is fully formed in my head before I even sit down at the kitchen table to write out the words. In fact, that's the favorite songs that I've written of my own are the ones that just fall out of you in 10 minutes.
You find that happens often?
It has happened often on occasion, and then other times it's a little bit more work. But sometimes I feel like the longer you drag out the writing of a song, the more it feels contrived, you know?
Okay, I understand that.
Billy Joel said something about that once, that sometimes he thought he dreamt songs, you know? And like, you know, you'd wake up in the middle of the night like, oh, what a great idea. I should write that down. Oh no, I'll remember it tomorrow. And he would forget it and it would be gone, you know? Almost like the song already exists out there someplace and it comes sort of through you.
I dreamt the motto to Grandma's Attic,
See?
Where adventures begin, secrets are shared, and treasures are found.
Which is an excellent motto.
Yeah, but
right?
I dreamt that.
Yeah,
And
that's
so I
inspired.
understand that.
Yeah.
And I also, things like that, I think that things like that come to us because they're supposed to. I think that's...
Maybe they're supposed to, and maybe it's that you're open to it. You know, maybe it's like it's got to be a give and take. I think.
Yeah.
You know, like you work sort of with the muse.
With the muse, with the universe, with whatever that higher power is out there. I'm struggling with what the concept of God is these days. I used to be really spot on knowing exactly what I thought God was, and I've changed as I've gotten older and opened my mind to other things. So you have two different ways of writing songs. You do have the ones that seem to come out and be contrived, and you also have the ones that just fall out of you. What are things that inspire you and get you to write? You do have a dog song, so Jabez was quite happy to receive his song. Thank you so much.
I'm happy Jabez is here.
He's awesome.
I'm talking to you.
Yeah, he's checking us out. What are things that inspire you to write music?
I think just living life, you know. Sometimes it's silly little things. You overhear somebody say a phrase and you're like, ooh, that's good. And then maybe you think about it or you meditate on it later to kind of derive some sort of meaning out of it, you know. Or everyday life events might inspire you to write something. If it happens to you or me, I would imagine that, you know, maybe we're not that much different than a lot of people in the world, and we can take our experiences and spin them into a larger facet, so it kind of makes sense to other people as well.
Uniquely the same.
Yeah.
That's what I like about life, is that we're all unique, but we're all the same. We're all uniquely the same, and that's what makes us so wonderful. So as we're sitting here talking, and you're thinking about songs that have influenced you over your life, what is your favorite song in all of the history of Frank?
Wow. That I've written or that someone else has written?
Oh.
Ooh, good question.
Good question of your own question.
Oh.
Answer that question
Okay.
twice.
Answer that question twice. Well, there are some songs that you just can't turn off the radio, and that makes sense to me. I don't know, like makes sense to me in my heart. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
One of them is Salisbury Hill by Peter Gabriel.
Okay.
I don't know why, but that song comes on, and I immediately want to weep and sing along. You know, I've often fantasized about singing that song live if I could hit all the notes.
Okay.
You know? Or there's another song that I always forget the name of the band. Maybe we could Google this later too. It goes, "The time for talking's over now, I guess it's time to let you go. But I don't mind at all."
I don't know that song.
It's an 80s song, but every time I hear it, sometimes I'll wake up with it on my mind. It's a song that just sort of resonates with me somehow, and that makes sense to me. So I would say those two songs.
Cool.
Another one, since it's the anniversary of the murder of John Lennon, "In My Life" was always a song that just knocked me out. You know, from the very first time I heard it, it was like a punch in the throat. Like, stop and listen to this. It means something, you know. So those are songs that really have meant things to me, you know. And plus, I like a lot of local songs, you know. I have certain people that I hang around that I consider my brothers and sisters in music, you know. Like songs by Christopher Bousquet or Paul Bell Busty or Shelley Valauskas or James Velvet. You know, there are so many.
Or the Reducers.
Or the Reducers, you know. There are so many great songwriters.
I have to say that because there's songs the Reducers do that I live by.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we danced to them in the 80s. So.
Yeah, I totally understand that. That just
Absolutely.
Somehow, you know, you're firing on the same sort of cylinder as the songwriter at that point. And I think that might be the goal.
Okay, so now what's your favorite song that you wrote? And do you think that other people catch that resonation off that song of yours?
I don't know if they do or not.
But what is it?
Well, maybe there's a couple. One that was the most fully formed song in my head before I even picked up the guitar is a song called "She Laughs and Cries." And I picked up the guitar. I had a notebook. I felt like something was happening, so I picked up the guitar and I had a notebook and a pen, but the page was blank. And I just started playing it, and no lie, it came out. The first time I played it, I knew it was a song. And then I played it again, and I remembered all the words.
Nice.
You know, so I'm like, that's a song, and that came from someplace else. And so I just wrote it out on paper, and it literally happened in 2 minutes and 38 seconds, which is the length of the song, you know.
Now, how much musical training do you have? Did you get any musical training growing up?
No. I wish that somebody had thrown a guitar in my playpen when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Or I'm still thinking about taking lessons. I've never taken a lesson in my life.
Wow.
But I would love to do that. I feel like taking lessons now might open up my songwriting a little bit.
Maybe it would, but you're very good at what you do. If you weren't good enough to be on my show, you wouldn't be here.
Knuckle that. I appreciate you.
I mean, let's face it. I'm pretty picky about who I have on my show. And when I heard you do your song, because that's all you got to do, at the Pass Guitar, I was like, this guy's got to be on my show. He's just got to be. So
thank you
that's
very
a
much for
wonderful
having me.
thing. Now, I have a question that my crew is just going, because I ask everybody.
Okay.
So the way of the world today is kind of tough. So what has happened, and this is an imaginary thing, because it never will really happen, is the world has imploded, and what it has left is you and 12 children and little else, how are you going to, number one, leave a legacy for those 12 children? And what are you going to do to teach them about music?
Good question. 12, me and 12 kids?
That's you.
I guess we're going to have a lot of conversations about the important things. Maybe, since the world has imploded, they're going to have to know things like gardening and like planting vegetables and stuff like that.
Yep.
So I think maybe we'd start there. And I tend to, when I'm planting in my garden or something like that, I tend to whistle a lot.
Nice.
So maybe we would have sing-alongs while we were planting the garden. And that's how I would.
That's wonderful.
Pass on a legacy.
That's a wonderful way to leave music to our kids. Frank, you've been just a joy as a guest.
Thank you very
so
much.
glad that you were able to come on
Me
my
too.
show. Will you take us out with a song?
Oh yeah, of course.
Absolutely. Make sure you
On
unmic.
hook, right.
While Frank's getting ready to take us out with a song, let me just remind you all that it is the holidays. Remember, in the cold weather, to check on your neighbors. Shop local, shop small, keep it in your neighborhood, and remember that I love you guys. I am so grateful for what you do for my show, just by watching on Saturday nights and then coming up to me when you see me on Bank Street or wherever. Thank you so much for your loyalty and for just checking out this show, because it's a lot of fun to do, and it's really a heart song for me to be able to bring you wonderful musicians like Frank. So until next week, everybody, God bless. Bye-bye. Have a great week.
Thank you very much for having me, and thanks for listening and for doing a great job on the sound and lights and stuff like that. Fight the power and be kind to one another.
When the flood waters rise and we'll all go fishing. If the house burns down, we can warm our hands. When someone does us wrong, that's the time for forgiving. When the world gives us a licking, we'll just do the best we can. Daddy always told me, now son, take a listen. Life isn't always easy when you get to be a man. There's things you ought to know, and sonny, I ain't kidding. You better learn them now or life will kick you in the can. When the flood waters rise and we'll all go fishing. If the house burns down, we can warm our hands. When someone does us wrong, that's the time for forgiving. When the world gives us a licking, we'll just do the best we can. Mama said, son, don't you grow up in a hurry. Living is a gift and it's best to take your time. There's no sense in wasting even one day in worry. A smile is the only way to keep yourself from crying. When the flood waters rise, then we'll all go fishing. If the house burns down, we can warm our hands. When someone does us wrong, that's the time for forgiving. When the world gives us a licking, we'll just do the best we can. Wake up every morning and I get myself some coffee. Later in the afternoon I drink myself a beer. When evening rolls around and I'm sipping on a whiskey. Some people say that's bad, but it keeps me in good cheer. When the flood waters rise and we'll all go fishing. If the house burns down, we can warm our hands. When someone does us wrong, that's the time for forgiving. When the world gives us a licking, we'll just do the best we can. Cloudy day, sunny day, it doesn't matter anyway. I gotta ramble on and experience the world. And when I come home, I will tell you all the story of how I cracked an oyster and I found myself a pearl. When the flood waters rise